The 5 Pillars of Intimate Wellness After 60, a gynecologist's guide to natural self-care. Have you ever taken a moment to notice how the smallest of your daily habits, such as how much water you drink, how often you take a moment to stretch, or whether you pause to take a deep, calming breath, can completely and utterly change the way your body feels? For women who are navigating life over the age of 60, those seemingly insignificant little habits are not just about your general state of wellness, they are in fact the very foundation of your intimate health. I am DrLilyStones, a gynecologist with over 30 years of dedicated experience in the field, and today I want to share with you the natural, accessible self-care habits that are proven to protect your intimate health in the years following menopause. These are not expensive medical treatments or overly complicated, time-consuming routines. They are simple, science-backed choices that any woman can begin to implement today, right in the comfort and privacy of her own home. The primary problem is that so many women have come to believe that after the age of 60, nothing they do can really make a significant difference. They think that the onset of dryness, the experience of discomfort, or the gradual loss of intimacy are all simply inevitable parts of the aging process. But please allow me to tell you, I have seen firsthand in my clinical practice that this is simply not true. With the consistent application of the right habits, your body has an incredible capacity to respond at any age. Let me give you a clear example. A patient of mine, Teresa, aged 67, came into my office feeling completely hopeless. She told me, "Doctor, I honestly think that my body just does not work anymore." She was dealing with a constant state of vaginal dryness. She had absolutely no interest in intimacy, and she was living with the profound embarrassment of experiencing urinary leakage whenever she laughed or coughed. She had come to believe that her only options were to take medications that she did not want to take, or to simply resign herself to living with it. But when we shifted her focus toward the implementation of small, natural, and consistent self-care habits, proper hydration, daily pelvic floor exercises, the use of gentle moisturizers, and a commitment to regular movement, everything began to change for her. Just 3 months later, she looked at me and said, "I feel like myself again. Not younger, just more vibrantly alive." And she is far from being alone in this experience. According to the National Institutes of Health, NIH, a variety of lifestyle habits, such as proper hydration, regular exercise, and a commitment to balanced nutrition, play a major and significant role in reducing intimate discomfort and improving overall circulation in the years after menopause. In fact, women who actively maintain consistent self-care routines report not only a better state of physical health, but also a marked improvement in their self-confidence and their emotional well-being. Think of it as being like the dedicated tending of a beautiful garden. If you make sure to water it on a regular basis, to nourish the soil with the right nutrients, and to provide it with adequate sunlight, that garden will continue to flourish even after many, many seasons. But if you choose to neglect it, or if you care for it in the wrong way, it will inevitably begin to wilt. Your body is that very same garden. The right self-care habits are the water, the sunlight, and the nourishment that are essential for keeping it blooming, no matter what your age may be. So in this episode, we are going to explore the 5 natural self-care habits that every single woman over the age of 60 should be aware of. We will talk about the crucial roles of hydration and nutrition, the benefits of gentle moisturizers, the power of pelvic floor exercises, the importance of movement that supports your circulation, and the vital role that intimacy itself can play in keeping your body strong and resilient. Along the way, I will share some real-life patient stories, some important medical insights, and a host of practical tips that you can begin to apply in your own life, starting today. Before we dive in, I would like for you to ask yourself, which small daily habits do you already practice for the sake of your own intimate health? And which ones perhaps have you neglected without even realizing it? Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. You may be very surprised by just how much your words resonate with another woman who may be feeling as though she is all alone on this particular journey. And please, stay with me, because what you are about to learn might just completely transform the way you see the practice of self-care, not as something that is optional or indulgent, but as the very foundation of your health, your intimacy, and your profound sense of dignity after the age of 60. The very first habit, and perhaps the simplest of them all, is a commitment to proper hydration and a form of nutrition that actively supports your circulation. So many of the women I see in my practice tell me that they tend to drink coffee or tea all day long but very little plain water. What they often do not realize is that the act of hydration is not just about quenching your thirst. It is about keeping the tissues throughout your entire body, and that includes your intimate skin, both supple and resilient. According to the Mayo Clinic, a state of dehydration is a major and significant contributor to the experience of vaginal dryness, to urinary discomfort, and even to a pervasive sense of fatigue. When your body does not have enough water, your tissues begin to lose their natural elasticity, and they can become fragile and much more prone to the development of painful microtears. I once treated a woman named Margaret, who was 70 years old and had a primary complaint of constant nagging irritation. She dutifully carried a water bottle with her everywhere she went, but when I asked her what was inside of it, she laughed and said, "Doctor, it's always filled with sweet tea, not with water." That had been her daily habit for many, many decades. When we worked together to gradually replace some of those sweet teas with plain water and to add in more foods that were rich in omega-3s, such as salmon and flaxseed, her symptoms began to ease within a matter of just a few weeks. She later told me, "I never in a million years imagined that something as simple as drinking more water could so dramatically change the way my body feels." That is the incredible power of a simple, consistent habit. Nutrition is, of course, equally important. The National Institutes of Health has pointed out that omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin E, and the phytoestrogens that are found in foods like flax, soy, and various nuts can all work to improve your circulation and the overall health of your tissues. These powerful nutrients act almost like a form of natural moisturizer, working from the inside out. Think of it as being like tending to the quality of the soil in your garden. If that soil is rich and well-nourished, the flowers that grow in it will thrive. But if that soil is depleted of its nutrients, the flowers will inevitably begin to wilt, no matter how much you may water them. The second habit that can make a world of positive difference is the practice of gentle, regular moisturizing. A great many women will very carefully moisturize the skin on their face and their hands, but they will never even consider the idea of moisturizing their intimate skin. Yet, after the onset of menopause, when your estrogen levels naturally begin to drop, these particular tissues will lose their elasticity and will become much more vulnerable to the effects of dryness and irritation. The act of moisturizing in this area is not a luxury, it is an essential form of care. I remember a patient named Sandra, aged 68, who came to see me feeling deeply embarrassed about her ongoing discomfort. She said, "Doctor, I feel so silly for even asking this, but is there such a thing as a lotion for down there?" I smiled warmly and reassured her, "Yes, there absolutely is, and it can make all the difference in the world for you." We chose a simple, high-quality, fragrance-free, water-based vaginal moisturizer for her to try. Within just a few weeks, Sandra reported that she felt as though she had new skin. She was able to sit comfortably for longer periods of time, she could exercise again without any issues, and she was even able to rediscover a sense of intimacy without any fear of pain. The Cleveland Clinic has emphasized that the regular use of vaginal moisturizers, just a few times a week, can effectively restore the natural elasticity of the tissues, can reduce the occurrence of those painful microtears, and can significantly improve your overall daily comfort. And please understand, this is not about a quest for youthfulness, it is about a profound sense of personal dignity. It is about being able to move through your day without the constant burden of discomfort holding you back. I often compare the practice of moisturizing in this area to the act of oiling a wooden door hinge. Without that oil, the hinge will begin to squeak, it will start to grind, and it will eventually begin to rust. But with a regular application of oil, it will continue to move smoothly for many, many years. Your tissues after the menopausal transition are no different. They require that same gentle, consistent support in order to be able to move and to stretch without any pain. Together, the practices of proper hydration and regular moisturizing form the very foundation of your intimate self-care. One of these habits works from the inside out, while the other works from the outside in. When they are combined, they provide a level of resilience, comfort, and protection that no single medication alone can possibly offer. So, here is a question for your own reflection. When was the last time that you truly paid attention to how much water you are drinking each day, or that you considered the idea of moisturizing your intimate skin just as carefully as you moisturize the skin on your face? If your answer is rarely or never, please know that you are not alone. A great many women only discover these essential habits much later in their lives, but the wonderful news is that it is never ever too late to begin. I would be honored to hear from you. Which of these two habits feels easier for you to start with today? Would it be drinking more water, or would it be adding a gentle moisturizer to your weekly routine? Please share your thoughts in the comments, and you may just be the person who inspires another woman who is feeling hesitant to take her very first step. And please, stay with me, because the next habits that we are going to explore are not just about your physical comfort, they are about strengthening your body's very foundation and can even improve your experience of intimacy in ways that you might not expect. The third essential habit is one that a great many women tend to overlook, yet it is absolutely vital for your well-being: the practice of pelvic floor exercises. Your pelvic floor muscles are responsible for forming the very foundation of your core. They provide crucial support for your bladder, your uterus, and your rectum, and they also play a critically important role in both your continence and your capacity for intimacy. But after the onset of menopause, these muscles can begin to weaken, especially if they are completely ignored. This weakening can lead to issues such as urinary leakage, pelvic organ prolapse, and even a noticeable loss of physical sensation. According to the Mayo Clinic, the act of strengthening your pelvic floor through the use of simple exercises like Kegels can significantly improve your sense of control. It can reduce the incidence of leakage, and it can even work to enhance your experience of pleasure. And here is the very best part: these exercises require no special equipment. They do not necessitate a gym membership, and they do not involve any expensive classes. You can do them while you are brushing your teeth, while you are watching television, or even while you are sitting at a red light. I will never forget a patient of mine named Linda, who was 72 years of age. She came to me and whispered, "Doctor, I don't go out with my friends anymore because I am so afraid of having an accident. I feel as though I am trapped inside my own house." Her confidence was literally crumbling, not because of any particular illness, but simply because of her weakened muscles. I taught her a very simple routine: 3 sets of 10 Kegels each day, holding each contraction for 5 seconds at a time. At first, she was very doubtful that it could possibly help her, but after a few months of consistent practice, she proudly told me, "I went to my granddaughter's recital, and I laughed through the entire evening without having to worry even once." That small daily habit gave her back her personal sense of freedom. I often compare the practice of pelvic floor care to the act of maintaining the foundation of a house. If that foundation begins to crack, it does not matter how beautiful the paint or the furniture inside may be, the entire house becomes unstable. Strengthening your pelvic floor is the act of repairing and protecting that absolutely essential foundation. The fourth habit is equally important: engaging in regular movement that actively supports your circulation. All too often, women believe that any exercise they do after the age of 60 has to be intense in order to be worthwhile. But the profound truth is that gentle, consistent movement is what your body needs the most at this stage of your life. The acts of walking, of practicing yoga, of engaging in Tai Chi, or even of performing some simple daily stretching can all work to increase the flow of blood throughout your entire body, and that includes your pelvic region. And of course, better circulation directly translates to healthier tissues, to a reduction in dryness, and to stronger, more responsive muscles. The National Institutes of Health has noted that the practice of regular physical activity not only lowers your risk of developing heart disease and osteoporosis, but it also helps to maintain your intimate health by promoting the flow of oxygen and essential nutrients to all of your tissues. Think of it as a natural internal pump that is constantly delivering a life-giving force to the very areas that need it the most. One of my patients, Anne, who was 69, had completely stopped all forms of exercise because of her persistent joint pain. She told me, "I just feel so stiff, so heavy, and so much older than my age." We worked together to create a very gentle and manageable routine for her: a 15-minute walk after her breakfast each day, and a few simple yoga stretches before she went to bed at night. Within just 2 months, she came back to my office with brighter eyes and much lighter steps. She said, "Doctor, I don't just feel better, I feel like my body has finally woken up again." And as an added bonus, her intimate discomfort had also improved. The practice of movement is not only about your muscles and your bones, it is about your circulation, your energy, and your overall sense of vitality. I often use the analogy of a flowing stream. When the water in that stream is flowing steadily, it remains clear and nourishing. But when that water is allowed to stagnate, it grows cloudy and lifeless. Your circulation works in precisely the same way. The practice of consistent movement is what keeps that stream flowing, carrying vital oxygen and nutrients to all of your tissues so that they can remain alive and healthy. Together, the practices of pelvic floor exercises and regular movement form a truly powerful duo. One of these habits works to strengthen your foundation from within, while the other works to keep the very lifeblood of your body flowing through every single corner of it. They require no expensive tools, only your personal willingness to start. So here is what I would like for you to consider. Do you think that your biggest personal challenge at this time is a matter of strength, or is it a matter of circulation? In other words, do you feel that you need to focus on building up your foundation, or on getting your blood flowing more freely? Please share your thoughts in the comments section, because the act of identifying your starting point is the very first step toward making a lasting and positive change. And please, stay with me, because in the next habit, we will explore something that many women tend to shy away from, but which just might be the very key to keeping your body feeling alive, confident, and deeply connected. The fifth and final habit may surprise you because it is something that a great many women who are over the age of 60 have quietly given up on: the practice of gentle intimacy and touch. I want to be very clear here. The word intimacy does not have to mean sexual intercourse. It can be as simple and as tender as holding hands, as gentle caressing, as mindful self-pleasure, or as the act of rediscovering a sense of closeness with your partner in new and non-demanding ways. What truly matters is that the experience of intimacy helps to keep the blood flowing to your pelvic region, it supports the health of your tissues, and it reinforces your profound sense of connection with your own body. The Cleveland Clinic has emphasized that the practice of regular stimulation, even in very small amounts, can help to prevent the process of tissue thinning and can help to maintain the natural elasticity of the tissues. In other words, the very act of using your body helps to keep it alive and responsive. Yet, all too often, women will avoid intimacy out of a sense of embarrassment, out of a fear of experiencing pain, or simply due to the deeply ingrained belief that it no longer matters at my age. Let me tell you about Rosa, a patient of mine who was 70 years old when she first came to see me. She had been widowed for over a decade, and she told me very quietly, "Doctor, I haven't even thought about the idea of intimacy in many years. I feel completely invisible." She had simply assumed that this particular chapter of her life was over. But when I asked her if she might be open to the idea of rediscovering her own body in some gentle, private ways, she hesitated for a moment, and then she nodded. We created a simple plan for her: proper hydration, the use of a good quality moisturizer, some daily pelvic floor exercises, and just a few minutes of self-touch each week. Not as some kind of an obligation, but as a genuine act of kindness to herself. 3 months later, Rosa walked into my office completely transformed. Her hair was styled, there was a healthy flush in her cheeks, and her eyes were bright and alive. She said to me, "Dr. Stones, I had not realized just how much I had missed feeling connected to myself. I had always thought that intimacy was about someone else, but now I feel truly alive again." For her, the experience of intimacy was no longer about the act of sex. It was about the powerful act of remembering that she was still a vibrant and a worthy woman. The science fully supports Rosa's transformation. The practice of regular intimacy, whether it is shared with a partner or as a solo experience, is known to trigger the release of oxytocin and endorphins, the feel-good hormones that are proven to reduce stress, to ease pain, and to elevate your mood. According to the Mayo Clinic, women who are able to maintain a sense of intimacy after the onset of menopause consistently report higher levels of happiness, they have improved circulation, and they even show lower risks of developing certain chronic conditions. The experience of intimacy, then, is not at all frivolous. It is in fact a form of medicine. I often explain it in this way: think of your intimate health as being like a beautiful violin. If that instrument is left untouched in its case for many years, its strings will inevitably become stiff, its sound will begin to fade, and its beautiful music will be lost. But if you take the time to play it gently and consistently, that violin will stay perfectly in tune, it will remain alive, and it will continue to be capable of creating a profound and moving beauty. Your body works in the very same way. The experience of intimacy, whether it is with yourself or with a partner, is what keeps the strings of your body tuned and exquisitely responsive. Of course, many women feel very hesitant to even talk about this subject. Some feel a sense of shame, others live in fear of being judged, and a great many of them simply assume that it is too late for them. But please, allow me to assure you, it is never ever too late to reconnect with your own body. The practice of gentle intimacy is not about chasing after your youth. It is about honoring the incredible woman you are today, alive, present, and wholly deserving of both comfort and joy. So, I want to ask you something very personal. When you think of the idea of intimacy now, do you see it only as something that belongs to your past, or could you perhaps begin to imagine it as a vital part of your present and your future? Please share your reflections in the comments. if you feel comfortable doing so. Your courage just might be the very thing that inspires another woman who has been living in silence for far too long. And please, stay with me, because in the final part of this episode, we will bring all 5 of these powerful habits together. We will recap the important lessons we have learned, and we will talk about how these small daily choices can help to create a lifetime of health, dignity, and unwavering confidence. We have journeyed through 5 natural and powerful habits together, habits that are designed to protect not just your intimate health, but also your confidence and your profound sense of joy as a woman over the age of 60. Let's take a moment now to bring it all together. The very first habit we discussed was that of proper hydration and nutrition. We learned that an adequate intake of water and the consumption of nutrient-rich foods like salmon, flaxseed, and various nuts are not just good for your heart or for your skin, they directly support the health of your tissues. They work to reduce the discomfort of dryness, and they keep your body's internal garden nourished from the inside out. The second habit was the practice of gentle moisturizing. Just as you care for the delicate skin on your hands and your face, your intimate skin deserves that very same level of respect and attention. The regular use of a high-quality moisturizer can help to restore the natural elasticity of the tissues. It can prevent the formation of those painful micro-tears, and it can allow you to move through your day with a sense of both comfort and dignity. The third habit was the practice of pelvic floor exercises. These simple, targeted movements work to strengthen the very foundation of your body, helping you to regain your sense of control, to reduce the incidence of urinary leakage, and to restore your physical sensation. They are a 5-minute gift that you can give to yourself each and every day, one that will pay you back with invaluable dividends in the form of personal freedom and renewed confidence. The fourth habit was the practice of regular movement that actively supports your circulation. From the simple act of walking to the practice of yoga or gentle stretching, every single step you take helps to keep your blood flowing like a clear and vibrant stream, delivering a life-giving force and a sense of energy to all of your tissues. The practice of movement is not about chasing after your youth. It is about keeping your body feeling alive and responsive at any age. And finally, the fifth habit was the practice of gentle intimacy and touch, not as something that you owe to anyone else, but as a profound way to stay connected with your own body, to release those beneficial feel-good hormones, and to remind yourself that the experience of intimacy belongs to every single stage of your life, including yours. Together, these 5 essential habits form a complete and comprehensive circle of care: nourishment from the inside, protection on the outside, strength in your foundation, a healthy flow through your circulation, and a deep sense of connection through the experience of intimacy. Each one of these habits serves to support the others, and when they are practiced with consistency, they have the power to completely transform the way you feel in your own body. Think back to the inspiring stories that we have shared. There was Teresa, who had thought that her body was failing her, but who was able to find a new sense of life through the simple practices of hydration and movement. There was Sandra, who was able to discover a profound sense of comfort through the practice of moisturizing. There was Linda, who was able to regain her personal sense of freedom through the consistent practice of pelvic floor exercises. There was Anne, who was able to find her energy again through the simple act of walking. And there was Rosa, who was able to rediscover her own inner spark through the practice of gentle intimacy. These women are all living proof that positive change is absolutely possible. They did not need any expensive treatments or any complicated time-consuming routines. What they needed was a sense of awareness, a commitment to consistency, and a profound sense of compassion for themselves. I often say this: the process of aging does not have to mean a process of decline. It means adapting with wisdom, and that wisdom tells us that the small daily choices we make matter far more than any dramatic one-time interventions. Your body is always listening to the way that you care for it. Every sip of water, every gentle stretch, and every mindful touch. So here is my personal challenge for you. Please choose just one of these 5 essential habits, and make a commitment to begin today. Do not wait for the perfect time, because there is no such thing as a perfect time. There is only the here and now, and the precious gift of taking one small single step. Maybe that step will be pouring yourself a glass of water right now. Maybe it will be applying a moisturizer tonight. Or maybe it will be pausing for a single set of Kegels before you go to bed. Whatever you choose, please let it be your very first step toward a future of lasting comfort and unwavering confidence. And I would be so honored to hear from you. Which of these 5 essential habits feels the most doable for you right now, and which one feels like the biggest challenge? Please share your thoughts in the comments, because your honesty might just be the very thing that gives another woman the courage she needs to begin. If this video has been valuable to you, I warmly invite you to subscribe so that you do not miss the rest of this important series. In our next episode, we will be talking about how the practice of self-care does not just protect your body, but it also works to boost your intimacy and your confidence in ways that you may not have even imagined. I'm DrLilyStones, and I thank you for your time. And before we close, let me remind you this video is for educational purposes only. It does not replace medical advice. Every woman's body is unique. If you are experiencing pain, significant changes, or have personal concerns, please consult with your healthcare provider. Your well-being deserves personalized care.